Best Irish music on irishradio.org with Jerry Byrne.
My guests are now two people who are the most successful duo to ever come out of Ireland. They have had international success right as far as Australia. They've quite literally toured the world with their music and their songs. They're embarking on a tour starting in October right across the UK. They've got a stack of dates, and they've also got a new album which is coming out very, very shortly. It's the We Meet Again album, the We Meet Again tour. I'm delighted to say hello to the one and only Tony Allen. Tony, great to speak to you again.
Very good. How are you, sir?
Not too bad at all. Tony, listen, it's been many years at this stage.
Well, it's 48 years now almost since we started as Foster and Allen, but it's well into the 50 years since we first played together. Mick and I, we played together first in the 60s in a band. Mick was in a band called the Marylanders, which was based near me at home, and I started playing with them in the late 60s. And in 75 then we were in London working, and we decided to go as a duo from there on, and it's been that way ever since. 48 years almost now.
I mean, that's phenomenal in music. That has definitely got to be one of the longest, duos to ever continue to work, and it's an amazing success. I mean, you've quite literally conquered the world. You've toured the world with your music, and indeed in many cases you've both of you've put Irish music and sort of folk and ballads to the fore across the world.
Well, we've travelled a lot, that's for sure. Yeah, we've been to Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Canada, America, and of course Ireland and England and Scotland and Wales. And yeah, we've been at it a long time, and we were very lucky, of course, that the Bunch of Time made the British charts in the early 80s, and then of course Maggie was number one for five weeks in New Zealand and Australia, and I Will Love You All My Life was a hit in South Africa and Canada. So we were very, very lucky with a lot of very good songs.
Indeed so. And what is do you, when you're actually recording an album, do you work together, or do you sort of work separately and then it's all mixed in later?
Well, we would work separately, because like Mick would be picking his own songs and tunes, and I'd be picking my own and that. And we would go in separately and record them, and then when they're finished, the record company would put them together on the CDs and that. But in fairness, Mick would play on all the tracks, and Myra would play on all the tracks, but we would not necessarily be in the studio at the same time, if you know what I mean.
Okay. By the magic of modern technology in recording, which has drastically changed since.
That's great, yeah. It's brilliant. Although it's funny enough, we always, even back in the days when Eamon Campbell was producing, we always managed to do that. What you do is you put down a guide vocal with a rhythm track, like a piano and bass and acoustic guitar, and you get the tempo and the key right, and then when that had been done, you'd add the other instruments, and then you go in at the very end and put down the proper vocal.
Now, as well as your musical talent, I mean, your voice and Mick's voice managed to blend in incredibly well on the songs. I mean, both your voices are very, very different in style, but it manages to be the ultimate perfect blend.
Well, it gives, I'll tell you what it does, between the accordion and the two different voices, it gives a huge variety on the records when they come out, when the albums come out, because you have three different things happening all the time on a CD or on LP, and that's a huge help, opposed to somebody likes just singing and the same voice all the time. So it's a help to have to break down the album or the CD.
Indeed so. And I mean, you at this stage you've had a huge success with the CDs. I mean, you've sold at this stage like many hundreds of thousands of cassettes. Well, first of all, records, the old records, then the cassettes and the CDs. And indeed the downloads as well, which is and the streaming currently there, which is absolutely huge.
Yeah, and now this new CD, the We'll Meet Again, that's also coming out on vinyl. So we're going back to the days of the LPs again.
Indeed, hard to believe that we're actually going back to vinyl again.
Yeah.
I think it's the ultimate collectors who are inclined to buy the vinyl.
Yeah, well, that's good. You know, a lot of people are buying record players now, and a lot of the young people are buying record players and listening to some of the old rock bands and big 60s bands are being released again on vinyl. And a lot of people still have some of the vinyl from back when, you know, so it's nice to have both, I suppose. Of course, there's no CD players in the cars now either, so it's all downloads. It's a completely different kettle of fish now.
Indeed, so can I have a little word with your partner in music, Mick Foster?
You can indeed. You can indeed. You can talk to him for as long as you like. Hold on there now.
Thank you, indeed, Tony.
Good man, Jerry. How you going?
Not too bad. Listen, it's lovely to catch up with you again. Once again, you're out on promotion mode with the huge tour up and coming.
We are. We have, I think, a 20-day tour coming up from the end of October to the end of November. So we're barreling along, trying to let people know that we're coming back after whatever 2.5 or 3 years since we were here last.
Indeed, so now you've done. I know that you have done some touring in Ireland, and it's been very successful.
Yeah, Ireland. We did some dates there in Ireland, and it kind of dragged on longer than we thought because Tony got COVID in the middle of it, and I got COVID in the end of it, and so we had to keep postponing things. We normally finish about the beginning of May in Ireland, as in everywhere for the summer, and but it went on, I think, until the first week in July this year.
Indeed, yes, it was longer. Now, you kick off on the 27th of October in London in the Millfield Theatre in Edmonton. I mean, you go then the next night to the Grove, Dunstable, then Hunstanton, Clacton-on-Sea, Stockport, New Brighton, Coventry, Rugby, Warrington, Solihull, and then you come back actually to you're in Basildon on the 13th of November. Then the 15th of November, you're in the Beck Theatre in Hayes.
Yeah, that's a kind of a place that we love playing because I think we do it on near enough every tour, and it's a lovely venue to play. And then I think we finish in Weston-super-Mare on the 20th of November, and that's it. We go home then, and we'll be doing bits of radio and television and stuff like that at home, and we do a few dates after Christmas, and then we're back in Scotland for April.
Right, so it's fair going. I mean, it's that 20-day tour. I mean, it's taking you sort of the length and breadth of England. It's pretty impressive travelling.
It is. I thought you were going to say it's fair going for 2 outlets, but you just let off the 2 outlets bit. But it is. Now the only beauty is we have a coach and we have a driver and a tour manager. So you just sit back and let them get you from A to B, and all we have to do is do 2 hours of music, and it's not. It sounds worse than it is,
Right, well done on it. I'll tell you, like it's pretty testing mileage. Now, listen, the latest album, Mick, is it's a 14-track album, and one of the songs which stands out for me on it is the Mullingar Fleadh.
Yeah, Myra, as in Myra Fraser, my wife, she's the keyboard player and band leader with us. Her and a first cousin of mine wrote that for the 2020 Fleadh in Mullingar, but then COVID knocked that on the head. So 2020 and 2021 didn't happen. So we held on to it and let it out then for the 22 Fleadh, which is just gone by there. And there's a very good video for that as well, and some of the stuff in the video, there's footage from the 1963 Fleadh Goal in Mullingar, which was the last time it was there. So it's a good old lively song, and it's a very good video.
Indeed, it is. I'll have to say, I actually watched it, and I must say, it's very, very impressive. There's a huge amount of other musicians featured on it as well. You're also singing in the streets of Mullingar. I must say, very, very impressive. Now, the album's got an interesting choice of of music. Once again, it's wide and varied. The title track is on it. Of course, we'll meet again. Now, you go from the Mullingar Fla to to songs such as Who Left the Door to Heaven Open and Grace. Down to the likes of Kitty Kiernan and Derek Ryan's composition, An Irish Heart.
Yeah, look, we think there's something for everyone on it. And, look, we figure that that's the way it is with all our LPs or CDs or whatever you want to call them, that the fact that there's two of us, we do it, if they don't like me, well, they'll surely like Tony, this kind of a way, so that they're not stuck with the one lad all the time.
Indeed, so that's one of the major things. And as I said to Tony, the two of your voices blend in, incredibly well on all of the albums that you do, and indeed the music as well.
Yeah, well, look, there's a bit of a contrast in the two of us, so there's no way that you'd hear Tony and think it was me or vice versa. And just look at it, it's after working for the last 47, nearly 48 years, so we must be doing something right.
That's for sure. That is for sure. And I must say, that's one thing for sure. You would never mix up either of your voices. You're both very, very distinct. But listen, I wish you...
Yeah, my voice is a bit like gravel being caught under a door,
No, Mick, it's not that. It's an earthly. There's an earthly beauty to your voice.
A bog man's voice,
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. It's been
Tony. You're too nice.
No, Tony, Mick, it's been successful for, as you say, nearly 48 years. So you guys you've got to be doing something very, very right. Listen, I wish both of you all the very, very best for the future. Long may you keep touring. Long may you keep releasing material. And I'm really looking forward to playing loads more of this particular album, because it's got some great tracks.
I was about to say that, and long may you keep playing it. It's more important. Nobody else making it if lads say you don't play it.
Well, I suppose that's true. Mick, listen, it's been lovely to speak to you again, and indeed to Tony. Listen, have a great tour.
All right, Jerry, thanks very much. And sure, you might run in to see you somewhere along the line.
I will for sure, Mick. Thanks a million.
No bother, take care.